People all throughout Greater West Bloomfield are sharing their joy at Maxwell Hairston for being drafted into the NFL by the Buffalo Bills at pick number 30. One of those people is former Lakers assistant coach Kason Dickerson, who tweeted out, "Add first round to my resume," sharing his joy at Hairston's status, as he absolutely should be very, very excited to see one of his players make the big time. And joining us right now on The Splash to share his thoughts on the big news, we have someone else who was with Maxwell Hairston at the very beginning, West Bloomfield High School football coach Zach Hilbers. Zach, good morning.
Hey, good morning. I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. I know you've got to be really, really excited at this big news. You were the assistant coach during Max's time with West Bloomfield, and you've seen him from how he started and where he's gone since then. What was your initial reaction when you heard Maxwell Hairston got drafted into the NFL?
Well, I mean, I guess it was a combination of just being overjoyed, I guess it's natural, and a little bit of relief too, just knowing that the whole process, and after the combine, when he kind of blew up and it became really real, that he got a chance to showcase his ability a little bit and became a little bit of a national story, I guess. To kind of finish the process, I guess, even though it wasn't totally under his control at that point, but to really just to see it actually happen, because it's kind of been on my mind since, late February or so. So I guess on a personal note, my dad's from Buffalo, and he's like the happiest guy in the world. If you know anybody from that part of Western New York, they're a special, tight-knit group of people. So he feels like it's already part of his family.
I'd imagine so. And you're absolutely right. He had the fastest time with the 40-yard dash at the combine, made a huge impression, and being invited out to Green Bay, that doesn't happen to just anybody. So Maxwell has certainly come a long way since his time at West Bloomfield. I want you to take us back to when you first met him. What stood out about Max Hairston as a player and as a person?
It was 7th grade, middle school basketball when I first met him.
Oh, wow.
Our former coach, Coach Bellamy, and our offensive coordinator, Coach Rise, they coached our middle school teams at the time. And they kind of told us, you guys got to come check some of these kids out that we have on the team. So it's him and Donovan Edwards. We got a great picture of the two of them on the team together with some of the other guys that ended up playing for us. But if you remember him at that age, man, it was the big smile and a scrawny little body, and he was always happy and joking. And he filled out and grew up a little bit, but as you can see from TV last night and his interviews the last couple months, the smile's always still there. So I'm glad that's still there, because it was always the first thing everyone saw, when you first met him.
You're absolutely right. I was watching the draft last night, and one of the big things everyone has been talking about with Max Hairston has been his personality. When everybody else was getting drafted before him, like Travis Hunter and Cam Ward, they were walking right by Max Hairston, and he was hugging them and giving them all the praise in the world. And that energy is just so infectious, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, definitely. And it's genuine. It was, like I said, it was like that when he was whatever 7th grader is, 12 years old when I met him. He's still like that now. And if you saw, it was one of the coolest things was seeing his mom and dad and his sisters sharing the moment with them and hearing from them, because they were such a great family too. So I guess it's not surprising that he is the way he is, and he has those characteristics.
Absolutely. For those just joining us right now on The Splash Live, we have West Bloomfield football coach Zach Hilbers joining us right now, sharing his thoughts on the exciting news of Maxwell Hairston, a former West Bloomfield Laker, being drafted into the NFL by the Buffalo Bills just last night. And Zach, when Max began his career at West Bloomfield, he was a bit on the smaller side. He was a bit of a smaller athlete and wasn't particularly intimidating as a defensive back, but he always had this natural aura of talent. What do you think was the big difference maker in this transition into the big leagues?
Well, I think to play the position that he plays at the level he plays at, you have to be confident in yourself. Because, if you follow football at all, defensive backs, they don't have a lot of rules, for the game that go in their favor. It's a very difficult position to play, and you're going to lose some of those battles, I guess, for lack of a better description. So you have to have the confidence in yourself and your abilities, and he always had that. But it wasn't necessarily, I guess, because confidence, I guess, can be misunderstood into arrogance, and I don't know if that's the case with him. But you have to have a belief in yourself that you and your abilities that you can do it. He always had that. So when his body, I guess, kind of caught up with him his junior year, and he started to get a little bit longer, and he was still pretty skinny. But then, after he grew, he started filling out, and he really exploded his senior year. Had just a tremendous season for us here, and yeah, it's been nonstop ever since.
That's right. And we've had Max on our show in the past when he was in high school on Civic Center TV. You probably just saw some clips of him being interviewed by Dave Scott and Tyler Kieft in the past. What kind of impact would you say that Max had on the West Bloomfield football program while he was a student?
Oh, my gosh. Like you'd expect, a tremendous impact. And we were a pretty talented team. We won the state title his senior year through the COVID mess of a year where, our, not to go back into bad times, but, our season was canceled and reinstated and then canceled and restarted, I think, 2 or 3 different times. And him and really his classmates that year, they never lost hope in the fact that we were going to get to where our goals had us at in the state finals and winning it, even when we were sitting at home with the season canceled. So the impact that him and those guys had on us as a coaching staff, because I'll be honest, when in October or November, we're in the middle of the playoffs and they postponed the season again, I kind of lost hope. This is it, probably. And those guys never did. They stayed mentally ready. And when we were allowed to get back out in the field in January that year, we did. And it was incredible times.
I would imagine so. And I'm sure there are a lot of moments from Max's time when he was at West Bloomfield that stand out to you of what he's brought to this team. Is there a specific moment or a specific game from high school that really captured who Maxwell Hairston was as a competitor?
I guess it's easy to point to would have been the semifinal game that year when we played Belleville at their place. It's just a tremendous game. Went right down to the wire. We won in overtime because they had some really good players too. And to have a guy like Max that could just match up and take over half the field as a defense was obviously really valuable to us winning. But in a weird way, a lot of my memories, and maybe it's because I was the quarterback coach at the time, go to when we would pull him over on offense and use him because there wasn't much secrets about him. He was on the field on offense. We threw him the ball and he scored. And it was kind of maybe we should be doing this a little bit more often. But it was, I don't know. We kept telling ourselves this can't keep working. We can't just we got to use him as a decoy or this or that. It's no, when he was out there, we threw him the ball and he scored. I guess in hindsight, yeah, it makes sense.
A very, very crafty player, and now he is making the jump right into the NFL. His brand new team, the Buffalo Bills. What do you think Max Hairston is going to be bringing to his new NFL team, both on the field and in the locker room?
Well, like I mentioned, his confidence. I think he's going to bring that with him because I know that's who he is, and it's what he's going to need to succeed. And Buffalo's a team and a program that's been right on the doorstep for maybe 4 or 5 years now. And they're just looking for one thing to one domino, I guess, to fall to push them over the top. And, hopefully that's what he brings. It's just himself. I don't think he should change who he is as a person. I don't expect him to, just to be himself and trust his abilities. And like I said, hopefully he's that piece that they need.
Be yourself, trust your abilities. That's all you can do. Now, as we said earlier in the show, Max Hairston is the highest drafted Laker in history, higher above Matthew Judon and Javon Foster, who have been drafted in the past. What kind of precedent do you think this sets for West Bloomfield, especially since there are other players still up for the draft later on, like Donovan Edwards, Lance Dixon, Tyrone Broden? What do you see this meaning for West Bloomfield?
I guess, we've seen local guys go that high, whether it was Eric Fisher from Stony Creek or the Cass Tech and Detroit King have had a lot of players up there, and I can't go through the list of everyone, but I guess it just shows that, it can definitely happen here too. And while Max was always a really good athlete, we knew that he had a bright future. I'd be lying to you if when I saw him in 7th grade, I said, that's a first-round NFL draft pick. Because, he's a scrawny little kid that was really athletic and a good basketball player. But you never really know how kids are going to develop. And obviously, his natural physical maturation along with his hard work got him to where he is. So I don't. I guess instead, it really is possible. Like you see it happen to other people, and obviously we're pulling for the rest of our guys both tonight and tomorrow. We're really hoping they get their dreams realized too, and they get this level of excitement. But we hope it's the first of many, but also at the same time, you have to stop and realize how special it is, and that it might be a really long time before it happens again.
Maybe, but these guys have come a long way, and it's because of their impact that they made at West Bloomfield that they are where they are right now. Matthew Judon's number 99 has been retired by the West Bloomfield Lakers, if I'm not mistaken. Do you think other numbers, like the numbers for Javon Foster or Max Hairston or some of the other players we've yet to see yet, might be retired down the line?
Yeah, it's possible. Like, trust me, the kids have asked me about it. Like our former players, they go, what do we got to do to get our number up there too? So it's definitely on our minds, and we probably should have came up with more of a procedure, I guess, and some guidelines to the process before doing Matthews, because now all of them want to be up there, and I'm like, hey guys, we still need to like have some guys, wearing our jerseys. We're not the New York Yankees out here with half of the jerseys numbers up there in center field. But we hope it's on the horizon, because that means that they've gone on to do really good things and they're having good careers.
That's absolutely right. That's all we can hope for every single one of these Lakers. Zach, just a couple more questions before we wrap things up. I want to know, how do moments like this for you, seeing a former player get drafted, affect you and the current players that are in your program?
Oh, there's definitely a buzz. There was a buzz with our kids during the combine weeks, asking like, hey, what do you think Max is going to run? What's Donovan going to run? And both of them ran faster than I thought they would. Like, I was very hopeful, but when you see it happen, it like really popped off the screen, which was cool. But yeah, they're all really excited. They're all really happy for him. And we've had some. Max has been pretty busy, but we've had some of the other guys that are home for the draft, like up through the school, like using our weight room, working out on the field, and they've been out talking to the kids. They've been outstanding. So they get really excited about it too, because they see someone who really not that long ago was in the exact same spot as them.
That's right. It's a big inspiration for a lot of these Lakers as they look to the future and see, hey, that could be me one day. And I certainly hope that can be the case for a lot of these Lakers. Zach, last question for you before we let you go. Any final words you have to say regarding the future of Max Hairston and the future of these other Laker greats as they might be taking the next step into the NFL?
Yeah, just that, we're overwhelmingly happy for Max, and we hope that we're in the same situation for some of his former teammates over the next couple of days. And they should treat it like the celebration that it is. But what we always believe is like we've arrived closer to the destination. It's been a goal of his for a long time to get to where he's at, but the job's not done. Just keep the same work ethic that got you there. All the hard work to put you in a position to run like you did at the combine and have the career you had at Kentucky. Just keep doing the same things, take it to another level. So as great of a moment as it is, you don't want it to be the pinnacle either. You want the future and what's ahead of you to be, what you really look back on and cherish. So, hopefully that's ahead for him and some of the other guys too.
That's absolutely right. The future is bright, and there is a lot of work to do ahead. But today, we celebrate what is happening to Max Hairston and for the other Lakers down the line. Zach, thank you so much for joining us today here on The Splash Live to share your thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.